Hi, everybody. This is attorney Yana Feldman in New York, New York. I am speaking to you today because, as a mom and an attorney, I've been talking to a lot of people, both friends and clients, about how to prepare for emergencies. And while you can speak to an estate planning attorney and pay them a fee for preparing an estate plan, I wanted to give some ideas about what you could do by yourself for free to prepare for protecting your children if you became ill and weren't able to care for them, or if you were to pass away. So I have 3 types of suggestions that you are going to be able to do on your own. The first one is a legal document that you can prepare. And this document is called a designation of Stand By Guardian. And if you just go below this video and type your name and email in the box, you will get a free form. And you will fill in your name and address and your children's names and the names and addresses of the people that you would appoint to be a standby guardian. Now, I want to explain a little bit what this document does and doesn't do. The purpose of this document is if someone is suddenly unable to care for their children because they're sick, or they passed away, or they were deported, you are saying that I am appointing X, my friend, my neighbor, my cousin, my mom, whoever that is, to be the guardian for a period of 60 days. This document is not for forever. It's for 60 days. So if you know something happens to you, your sister who lives down the street is going to be the one to take care of your kids. She would be your standby guardian, and then she'd have to go to court and get the court to formalize that guardianship if you weren't going to be able to come back and take care of your child again. But maybe your sister that you would want to take your children permanently lives in Israel or in Brazil. You're not going to put your sister as a standby guardian. She's too far away. And in today's situation, the pandemic of COVID-19, she's not going to be able to get here. So you're going to have to think about someone who's local to you. So maybe it's the parent of one of your child's friends. Maybe it's a neighbor, it's a friend. It's someone that you trust that for 60 days could take care of your child and work with the person who would be the permanent guardian and facilitate that. So who are you going to name? You want someone that doesn't have any history of allegations of child abuse. Not even convictions, but really someone that has never, had an allegation of child abuse. You want someone who knows your child. You want someone who is going to be able to financially provide for that child for those 60 days. Now, this might mean that the person has, enough assets on their own. This might mean that you're going to prepare a way for them to access some of your assets. That's something else that, you would want to talk about. But someone who is nearby so they can physically come and get the child. Someone that doesn't have any history of history of allegations of child abuse or neglect. Someone that's going to be able to provide a financially secure place for your child, whether it's with their money or your money. And number 4, and this is probably number 1 really, someone that you've talked to. Someone that agrees in an emergency they would be able to take your child. And I always say this to all of my clients, but especially right now, you want to have a backup. What if your first choice is sick? What if their spouse is sick? You want a backup. If you have 2 backups, even better. So step 1 in how to take care of your kids if something should happen to you is to have this document, this designation of standby guardian. Step 2, and we're going to be offering this as a free handout as well. If it's not already up on the site, then send us an email to info@yanafeldmanlaw.com and we will send it to you. You want to fill out a sort of questionnaire about your child. So everything from, this is my child's medical history, these are his doctors, his dentists, these are his medications. If your child has some sort of IEP, if they have some sort of special needs, make sure that you write down what that is, what needs to be done. Write down your child's routine. And listen, I'm a mom. I know that routines are out the window right now. But in general, when do they go to bed? When do they wake up? What's their favorite cartoon to watch? What's their favorite lovey? What's their favorite book? What food are they allergic to? What food do they love? How do you discipline your child? How do you reinforce positive or negative behavior? What's going to be comforting to your child? If you're coming to pick my child up from my apartment, what do you need to bring with you? What would be a tragedy to leave behind because the child will fixate on having the purple blanket? So really, that's number 2. So number 1, you want to have a designation of Stand By Guardian. Number 2, you want to fill out an info pack with information about your child so that someone is caring for your child and, they're going to have a reference guide. And number 3, you want to have as complete an info pack, 1-page sheet as possible. So this is, like the cover sheet. My name, my child's name, any emergency medical information or allergies, my doctor, my child's doctor. Who are my relatives? Who are the people that need to be contacted? Who's the standby guardian? If you have a healthcare proxy. If you don't have one yet, that's another free resource that we're going to offer. Who's my healthcare proxy? If you have an actual estate plan, if you have a will or a trust or a power of attorney, who are the people that are featured in that? This should be no more than 1 page, maybe front and back, and make some copies. And especially if you're a single parent, if you're the only adult in your household, make sure that the children, if they're old enough, know where this is, that they know where your emergency package is, and share it with everybody. Share it with your standby guardian, share it with your power of attorney and your healthcare proxy, share it with your neighbor. Unfortunately, we are seeing illness and death in people that we did not expect to see it in. It's not just elderly people that are being impacted by the coronavirus. So these are some suggestions as to what you could do to make sure that if something happened to you, if you became ill and weren't able to take care of your child, that everyone around you and your child knows who would take care of your child, that the possibility of your child being taken into foster care or a family member that you don't like or trust or approve of taking custody of your child. We want to avoid things like that. We are in such uncertain times right now, and everything is quite frankly terrifying when we don't know what's going to happen. These are some suggestions of concrete things you can do. They don't cost you any money. They will take you a little bit of time. Things that you could do to protect your child if something happens to you. Now, I'm going to give you a few tips, a few other tips that may or may not apply to you. I think the first 3 are going to apply to everybody. A lot of people put their child as a beneficiary on a life insurance policy or a retirement plan or a bank account. If you have a minor child, that's typically a very bad idea. The reason for that is if your child is the beneficiary, then someone would have to go to court, be appointed guardian of the property for that child, and then the money would have to be held in a guardianship account under the supervision of the surrogate's court. And when the child is 18, they get unlimited access to that money. So it's probably not going to do them any good in the short term, and it probably won't do them any good in the long term. So if you have some savings where you want to have your child benefit, that would be a case where it's really important to have an estate plan, to have a will where you create a trust for your children. So I'm going to be doing a series of videos. I'm going to be talking about all of this and more. Please feel free to contact us at info@yanafeldmanlaw.com. If you want to speak to a member of our legal team, you could have a free 15-minute consult with someone, learn a little bit more about what might be appropriate for your family. But no matter whether you have assets or not, if you're interested in estate planning or not, if you're in New York State and you're interested in providing for your child, please download the designation of Stand By Guardian form, fill it out. If you have any questions, shoot us an email, and we will be happy to answer questions about that form for free. I wish you all the best. I wish you health and serenity, and looking forward for for a change and some good news. I hope that this was useful. Please let me know if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, because I'm going to be doing a bunch of others. Like I said, we will have free healthcare proxy forms and free information forms for your children as well. So be well. Take care. Bye-bye.